Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel. Whether you're new or coming back, this is Victoria and I'm so glad to see you guys. I took a couple of days off for myself and it's great to be back. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday. I hope you guys have had wonderful time with your families, with your friends, that you've shared the greatness, the gratefulness, the gratitude all around throughout, and hopefully also said your words of gratitude towards your ancestors, towards your higher power, towards nature around you, and generally the life that you have. Whew. We are actually more likely to say words of gratitude to another person than to express gratitude to the higher power for what, the life that we have, and to express gratitude to ourselves for all the courage, all the effort, all the blood and sweat that we've put in to build a life for ourselves and also to take care of other people that we care about. All right, so today is going to be a classic read, but considering the energy and the connection with the ancestors for, especially in the US, like, the story obviously goes beyond having a big turkey meal or doing shopping on the Black Friday, right? And if you think of the pilgrims, of those first people who arrived, who celebrated this holiday with the Native Americans, who really, that was the time of that, very raw gratitude for literally the harvest, so the gifts of the land, and also to the people who helped them survive, who taught them, what and when and how in this new land. So I thought that it'd be great to get, it's not an ancestor deck, but it is the Keepers of the Light deck. So we'll hear from master teachers and from the ascended masters. That's what it is. And you see what happens when I take a couple of days off. And then we'll go into tarot. I brought a couple of decks that I haven't used for a very long time, so it should be exciting. And while I'm getting ready with my Christmas decorations in this coming couple of days, I will most likely change the backdrop again. What will it be? We'll find out. So lots of surprises. And yeah, I almost lost track of time and forgot that it's literally the end of the month. So I will start posting horoscopes on my other channel. So starting today, I will be posting readings. I'll start with Sagittarius because we're in Sagittarius season. Happy birthday, Sagittarius. And then I'll just go around as usual. And this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. This will be for December. Am I gonna do something for 2025? I'll run a little poll. We'll see what happens if people are interested. If yes, I'll do it. Also, before I begin, we will have a new moon in Sagittarius this Sunday. So just keep that in mind. And if you're already well versed in the lunation events, you already know what to do. If you'd like an extra guidance specifically for Twin Flame Collective, I will be doing that reading tomorrow and I'll be posting it tomorrow. So we'll get spill some more tea. What do we need to know and how to use this energy to manifest our deepest desires. Okay, let's get a card for Divine Feminines watching first of all. I don't know what's happening with this candle and it's kind of going black. It's not supposed to be like that. It started with just being glass, transparent glass candle. So hopefully it's just, let's call it a visual effect. Oh, I love using candles in the winter time. It adds extra warmth, extra atmosphere. I mean, aromatherapy is big in my house, generally speaking. And I have some Palo Santo smudged around, usually before I do readings. But this is just something extra for winter specifically. And speaking of readings, I am open to bookings for personal readings. So you can order those on my website, mindfulbamboo.com. If you don't see the option that you like in terms of questions, well, it's actually either twin flame reading or it can be other options for like generally, the number, based on the number of questions that you have, like a half an hour session. But if you need something even more custom than that, send me an email and we'll figure it out. If you're interested in coaching, I do that too, and the intro session is free. It runs for 20 minutes where we get to know each other a little bit better, and where I find out what are your requests, what are your goals, and then I'll let you know how I see this going forward, and whether I can help you, what would that look like. Feminines, your card is from, or message is from Mary Magdalene. The teacher awakens. Beautiful. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. Nice. I love this. Especially for the holidays. We already started to think about next year and the big goals and big summer of the year. So don't be surprised if you're even more guided to make big changes or set new goals. And this new moon is definitely an excellent time to do that. Sagittarius is very much inviting us into that space. For masculines, we have the Lady Portia message, the divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. And we've seen that actually with the masculine readings in the last few days. So let's see what that's about, right? I've got the Sophia Charles deck with me for the main read, and then the clarifiers are going to be done with the gold foil tarot. By the way, since we're still in Black Friday season for a few more days, you know that you can support me and express your appreciation by getting something from my Amazon wishlist, which is mostly tarot and oracle decks. So check it out. Maybe some of them are on discount right now on the sale, and you can get them to me at a very reasonable price. That would contribute to the channel. I would be using them for readings, right? And this way you'll be supporting me and what I do. All right, let's see. The universe, this is the world card in the usual deck at the bottom of the deck. So the cycle is closing. I would say, I spoke about it a little bit last time we had a reading, that the Scorpio season was like the death and rebirth, where the transformation was happening. It's like the old structures were broken, but sorry, it's the death and rebirth, but that was the death part, and now it's the rebirth part, where we're birthing something new instead of those old structures. And that coincidentally is when Pluto went into Aquarius permanently, for the long term, because it's been going back and forth for almost 2 years now. It's been funny. Capricorn, Aquarius, here and there, few months here, few months there, but now it's settled in Aquarius just like days ago, and it's gonna stay there for good 20 years. The Hanged Man, another major arcana, by the way, right? But this is seeing your situation differently. So this is closing out the old scenarios, and that allows to see new perspective and new opportunities, like now that I don't have all that burden or those kind of responsibility, even if it basically meant that I had to break up with that person and said, right? And I was grieving about that, maybe still am. But at the same time, I was able to get rid of certain responsibilities that were weighing down on me. And now I, get a new perspective of what I can do with all those resources that have freed up. Feminines, your energy is the King of Swords, clarified by the Hierophant. So both of them are quite masculine energies. They're also about leadership, about mastery, right? It's about mastery of the word, of the communication, actually for both of them. And it's also about standing in your power in front of public, right? So imagine public speaker, right, doing a big live talk and people listen, right? It's that part where a person has this charisma, they're so good with the word that people, even if they were passing by in the street, they stopped and started listening. If they had no interest in the topic, the way that this person speaks calls to people, and it's like, ooh, I don't know what that's about, but I better stop and listen carefully, right? And needless to say, then that it sinks in, and the person ends up taking action or, following up on that. It's not just like, oh, okay, yeah, I can listen to you for a while and then I'll get on with my life. Right, have an early start tomorrow, so yeah, let's just wrap this up. No, this is like, okay, you know, I want to be like that person, or they're saying something that can change my life. So if you don't feel like you're here, that you are embracing your power as a public speaker, that you have your voice, and of course public speaking can look like a reel on Instagram or an article in the blog, right? It doesn't have to be literally live events on stage, right? I just gave you a more vivid example. But if you are not in that position, then this is a high time to get there. The Hierophant, again, is the major arcana, so this is like calling from your higher power, right? That you're supposed to lead your community. You're supposed to speak to them. Being present in high vibe energy is step number one, and it's a great start. But now that you've nailed it, let's start talking. For the masculine, we see the Sun and Five of Cups. Very opposite energies, but I love that the Sun is the main one, right? So there is this, in this deck, it's actually a little bit about it's the twin flame thing, you know, like the 5D connection where the twins are together. You know, we like to say that separation is an illusion, right? And 5D, you're always together, you always have, you always will be. You basically have the same higher self, the same soul, right? So this is that place where, you know, the twins look like they're just playful kids that are playing together and have no worries. They don't have to care, like they can be careless about what's going on with other people, what's gonna happen to them tomorrow. They're enjoying the moment. There's an energy of very deep healing here. And I'm sensing that the reason that we also have Five of Cups is that on a certain level, it was the heartbreak that the masculines have experienced in the recent past that have pushed them more into this healing energy. It's like they were saying, I can't go on like this anymore. I can't have people taking advantage of my generosity or kindness, or I can't have all these high hopes for a new partnership and then the person just leaves me behind when it matters the most. Something like that. Something about betrayal is what I'm hearing here. But it's such a vast contrast. But now the healing is allowing, first of all, the masculines need to allow for it. Thank you for clarification, because it comes from the higher power, it comes from the guides that help, that support to heal, to find that place of peace and joy. But once that happens, then the healing kicks in. Once the masculine is open to this healing power, right? Like the healing happens, and then the masculines essentially transform as a result. The additional question, strengths clarified by Page of Cups. This is actually, as you can see, is not a major kind of strengths. This is Nine of Wands, but it is interpreted as strengths by the reader by the author of the deck in this case. Right, so there is a thin line between fear and strength. I would put it that way. I also like that there is a sun and the moon here. So there is a certain balance. It's like, how would I be in the middle so that my courage doesn't go out of control and become too reckless? But also, how do I avoid being fearful and never taking a chance, right? And there is a certain amount of getting to know your emotional cues to be able to define that place of harmony between like going for it, or between like staying still, keeping quiet, and kind of like waiting for what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna wait it out, we'll see. What do the feminines need to know about this? Page of Pentacles clarified by Eight of Wands. So for the feminines, they need to, their most important task is to follow the downloads, the guidance from the higher power, right? Like they don't need to figure out everything from day one. And this has to do with like stepping into your power, with setting up your career, your business, whatever that is, you know. It doesn't even have to be about light work. In this particular case, I don't sense that it's specifically about light work. It can be anything. Like maybe you're starting off a new career, right? And it's like, well, how do I do it all, right? Like how do I keep that balance between strength and fear? right? And basically you're already receiving the information that you need. Just follow the guidance, don't overthink it, and don't rely too much on what other people are trying to quote unquote teach you. For the masculines, we have Eight of Swords and the Lovers. Ooh. So, yeah, for the masculine, again, it's like the fear and the love. Very interesting, right? So for masculines, a lot of times it may look differently. Like in my example was the feminine was the new career, right? It can be a new career for the masculine. But whatever that is on the outside, it may be nothing related to relationships on the surface. But deep down, the energy that you will be expressing in that particular case would be based on the attachment style and the way that you build relationships with people. And yeah, of course, that will have in its turn the origin in the way that you've been taught to build relationships, growing up. Deeper and deeper and deeper, we can dive into that. Anything comes down to childhood one way or the other. But the point is that if you are confused, divine masculines, if you're thinking this particular situation has nothing to do with relationships, why does it even matter so much? Like, why am I getting triggered as if it were? Because the baseline of any kind of trusted relationship is the same, right? And the way you do one kind of relationship is the way the way you get triggered. Let's put it that way, right? Rephrase for this context. You get triggered in one kind of relationship will be triggering you in any relationship, where it's trusted, when you're supposed to open up, where there is a certain amount of risk. So yeah, this is definitely an opportunity to connect to your higher power, to recognize where you are stopping yourself from success, right? Because Eight of Swords is the illusion, is the story we're telling ourselves. It's the self-sabotage of a possibility, of something beautiful, right? So that's where the answer is. Figure out this dynamic in the close relationships. And if for you, it's easier to work with the love relationships that you had, or I don't know, a relationship with your parents that you have, then go there. Because whichever way you're going to approach it, it's still going to touch, or you're going to get to that baseline that will impact any relationship. How will the feminine see the connection at this time? We have the Chariot twice. I love when this happens. This is my guys telling me that nobody needs a clarifier. Thank you very much. So yeah, the feminine is waiting for the cue when it's the go time, and they know that it's like part of the going, so to speak, is happening behind the scenes from the feminine. Like the feminine doesn't see that action, but she knows that it's happening, or they know. She or he, it's not about gender. Like they know that to a certain extent something is already happening, they just don't see it. And when it comes to the feminine taking action, they're waiting for this cue of from the divine, like knowing, okay, what am I supposed to do? Which direction are we going? Like, what's this next phase for us? What's this next step in this connection? If you're not, then this is a cue for you, divine feminine, to not try to reinvent the wheel right now by yourself, but wait for that cue. How the masculine see in the connection? Queen of Cups clarified by Third of Pentacles. They can't wait to start creating a life together. And to me, it was this waterfalls, beautiful nature. Like that's the way they see this life. That it's gonna be beautiful. And maybe for them, it's not the waterfalls. It's the, it's the mountains, or it's maybe some place in a big city in the downtown area, right? Like this is just like an example of someone's vision of that kind of paradise or haven or whatever that will be. But this is how they see their future life with the feminine, and they can't wait to start building it together. Okay, I hope this was useful for you guys. Thank you so much for your time. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel and leave your comments. I love you all. Tomorrow we'll do new moon reading. And until next time.